welcome back to Stylish Nigeria YouTube channel. I want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. Thank you all for subscribing to Stylish Nigeria YouTube channel. Thank you for your love and for your support. I really appreciate each and every one of you that have supported my channel. I actually don't take it for granted. Thank you guys. I celebrate all of my subscribers. Thumbs up for you guys. Okay guys, so if you are new to the channel, you're highly and very welcome. Please, if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Stylish Nigeria YouTube channel. I would appreciate if you hit on the subscribe button and then also hit on the bell on the side to get an update whenever I upload a new video. So that's just like basically the essence of hitting on that bell. In today's video, I'm going to be making this video with beginners in mind. This is a corset, so I'm going to be making a freehand corset for beginners. Yeah, you heard me right, a freehand corset for beginners. So we're not going to be making use of any pattern paper. So we're going to be, these are the fabric. So this is the fabric and then this is the lining. So we're going to be marking everything on our lining and then we transfer straight to our fabric. So I'm going to make it so simple so that even as a beginner, you'll be able to try your hands on this. Okay guys, so if you want to register for our online classes, you can see my number scrolling through the screen. Just send me a message on WhatsApp. I'll give you the details of the classes we have available. Okay, yeah. So okay guys, so let's just get started. You can follow me on all of my social media platforms: Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, all at Stylish Niger. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead now and cut out my pattern. That's my fabric. Okay, so these are the basic measurements that I'm going to be making use of. So the bust is 42, the under bust is 36, and then the waist is 34, the hip is 44. So when you divide the bust measurements, so these are the measurements, when you divide them, so when you divide 42, you can see it. Once you divide 42 into 4, you have 10.5. So that's what we're going to use on the bust side. And then this is the under bust, 36 divided by 4, we have 9. And then this is the waist, 34 divided by 4, we have 8.5. And then the hips, 44 divided by 4, we have 11. So these are the measurements that we're going to be inputting into our corset. So the next thing I'm going to do now, just fold out my fabric and then we're going to start immediately. Okay, so I already have my fabric here since we're doing the freehand. So basically what we're just going to do, we're going to mark out our regular bust here. So like I said, the measurement, so the bust point is 11. And then the under bust is 14.5. And then the full length, since it is almost like a crop top, is 20 inches. So now we're going to continue. The next thing now, we'll take out our shoulder measurement. So the shoulder measurement is 16. We mark 16 here, add 1 inch as my allowance. So from this point, I'll take out my armhole, which is is 16. I marked 8 inches, so I'll just mark it like this. Okay, so the next thing now, we'll add our bust measurements to this. Okay, no, let's take out our darts first. So the bust span measurement, that's from one nipple to another, is 4.5. So I'll mark the 4.5 from up down. So I'll take out the darts now, just the way we take out our darts. Since it is a corset, so I'll just take out, just do the 1 inches dart. You connect it to the bust point, connect this here. So this is just our regular bust here, please take note. And then from here, you connect it. And then this 1 inch, just extend it so you can note what I'm doing. I'm just blending it into this point. So then we'll take out our full body measurement now. So our bust is, like I said, is 42. So when you divide into 4, you have 10.5. This is 10.5. So because I'm using freehand, I don't want to run into any problem. I'll use 4 inches as my allowance. So the next thing, I'll come to my under bust points like this. The under bust, I'm using 9 inches. This is the 9 inches. I'll take out my 2, I'll add back my 2 inches and then add my allowance. So I'll mark it like this. And then I'll come to the waist, divided into 4, 8.5. I'll add back my 2 inches and then I'll add my allowance. And then the hip, the same thing, divided into 4. And then I'll add my allowance. So just go ahead, I'll blend it like this. So this is basically what we have. The next thing we're going to do now, let's take out our yoke, because this dress actually has a yoke. So I want it to come down a little bit. So I'm going to use about 8 inches for my yoke. So this is 8 inches here. So that what I'm just going to do, that 8 inches, I'm just going to float it into my armhole line. So you can actually design your yoke however you want it. Mine, I just want it to be straight. Or you can blend it a little bit, bring it down. So this whole part now, we're eliminating it. So I hope you understand what I'm trying to do now. So I'll cut out the front. So for the back yoke, so I'm using the same measurement. So for the back, I'm just going to come down a little bit. And then I'll just mark it straight. The back is straight. So I'll take that out for the back. And then on this side, so we'll mark out, take our sides. Okay, so you can see our dress is ready. So for the back, I'm just going to mark this point, so that I'll know where I'll take out my dart. So let's keep the back on the side. We're no longer working on the back. Now we're going to work on this. So the next thing now is for us to mark out our cups. Okay, so as beginners, I had to bring the yoke back so you don't get confused. So this is our regular bustier. That's our regular off-shoulder bustier pattern. That is what we have here. So this is the yoke. So once after cutting it, you take the length of your yoke and then you cut it out. So from here, our pattern is still a regular bustier pattern. So now we're going to turn this into a corset now. So you come to this center line here, that's the center front. You mark 1 inch, depends on how wide you want the corset to be. So that 1 inch, I'm just going to run it across from this top point, that's where our yoke stops, to the under bust. And then I'll mark it like this. It's a straight line, you see. The next thing now, we're going to form our cups. It's a very simple process. In forming the cups, what we are going to do, I'll check what I have here. I have 3.5 inches. So from this point, I'm just going to create a curve like this. Let that curve blend into my under bust line. So you know this part, we're taking off this part because this is that. So just blend it into your under bust line like this, and let it enter into that line, that 1 inch line that we measured. Then we'll come to this side now. So for this side, what I'm going to do for this side, I want to tighten up that part a little bit. So I'll tighten it. You can actually tighten it on both sides, but since I'm doing this video for beginners, let's just do one side so you don't get confused. So I'm just going to add just another 1/2 inch. So that is, I came out by 1/2 inch, and then just blend it into that into the dart line. So that's okay for a beginner. And then the next thing we're going to do, you are going to mark that difference that we have, which is 3.5 inches. I'm going to add 1/2 inch to it to make it 4, because at our right hand side of our boobs, that's towards our armpit area, is usually fuller. So I added 1/2 inch. So that 1/2 inch, what I'm going to do, so I have 4 inches. So I'm just going to mark, just create out a very beautiful curve, and then bring it to those points like this, so you can see what we have here. So this is how simple it is to cut a corset. So you can see we already have our corset. So this is our cup. You see, you can see how easy it is. The next thing now, I want to make this corset. I want the front to be a basque. So I'm going to come to this waistline point, and then I'm just going to blend this. Just blend it, just curve it in like this. Okay guys, so you can see we are done. So the back is going to be normal. So now let's go ahead and just cut it out. So now this is how we're going to cut now. So we're cutting like this. like this. So this is our cup. So make sure, let's number them so we don't run into any problem. So you just cut out the cup. So when cutting out the cup, cut it a little bit above. You understand? So this is one, this is one. So once I say 1 1, it's going to be here like this. You see how confusing it is getting me into? So this one, we're going to cut this one like this. Just curve out this point like this. And then cut out. So you can see, and then you take out your cup. So you can see it's just a simple process, you understand? Then now you can now take out your cup. Just cut above. So we have our cup. So I'm going to show us now. I'm going to open them up like this. So this one is going to stay like this. You have to number them so we don't run into any problem. So this one is going to be number 2. This is going to be number 2. Let it not confuse us. So let's open up now. So this one, please just join me. This is number 2. So this one now, this is number 1. You see number 1. You see it fits into that place. Number 1, number 2. Then the next thing now. So number 3 and 4 will come to the other side. Let's do it that way. So this one is going to stay here like this. Why this one will stay here? So this stays here. You understand? So this is number 1, number 2. So this one will be number 3. So this one, since I did not label it, so this one I'm going to call this one number 4. Call him and the other one number 4. So you know that these two together, these two. So you are joining 1 and 4, 3 and 2 together to give us the cup size, so you can see what we have. So I hope it's not confusing to use. You can actually label it the way you want to label it to make it easy for you. You understand? So this is the yoke now that we're going to use for the top part. Okay guys, so the next thing, I'm going to transfer this to my fabric. This is number 3. I'll transfer it to my fabric now. So the best thing, I'm just going to pin them together. I don't want to run into any problem. It will be better that way. Okay, so I'll transfer all of this to my fabric. So I'm not adding the yoke to it. It's just going to be an off shoulder one, so I'll leave that. So for the back, like I said, the back, I'm just going to add my dart to the back, and then I'll reduce the length of the back. So the length is going to be the length of the back piece. I'm going to use that 20 inches. So I will not add that extra inches. So the extra inches that I added is about between 5 and 6 inches, just to create out that basque effect. Okay, and then I'll just mark this dart line. So work on this when we're stitching, so I don't want to confuse you. So let's just transfer all of this to our fabric. So this is the Ankara that I'm going to be making use of now. So I'll transfer the back and the front. Just leave the cups on the side. Okay guys, so you can see, so I finished cutting out all of my pieces. So for the cup, so you just add 1 inch all around. Why? So that it will be able to cover your cups properly. So the next thing, I'm going to go and iron interfacing on all of this. That's, I'll iron my soft gum on the fabric. I'll just do that and then come back and show you guys how to stitch. We'll just go back to the machine and then we'll start stitching them, coupling them together. Okay guys, so you can see my corset. So I've marked them. So the next thing, I'm going to show you how we are going to go and join this together. So it's going to be placed like this. So I'll take it back now, and then I'm going to join them like this. on the dart line. So I'll place this like this, I will join it down, and then I'll do the same thing. And then this center piece also, this center piece, I'm just going to use 1/2 inch to join it also. So you can decide to cut it open, but or just join it. So I'll go ahead, I'll do that, and then I'll bring it back and show you how we're going to fix the cups. I'll do the same thing to the lining. Okay guys, so you can see, so I finished stitching. So this is my lining, this is the back piece. So I've stitched it on the dart line. So I just opened up the dart, and then this is the front, the lining for the front piece. So I've joined them together, and then like I said, I did the same thing on my fabric also. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to show us how to join the cups. So you can see how we pinned our cups together. So I'm just going to take this now and this together. I'll join it here like this on this dart line like this, and then I'll do the same thing. Okay, I actually cut out overlining. No. Okay, so I don't want to confuse myself. Let me just take one piece and leave the other one. Okay, so this one also, I'll join it like this and then like this. So this one is for this, and then the same thing I'll repeat. So I cut the lining so too much. I cut double. I'm supposed to cut one. So the same thing I did to this, I'll do to this. So I'll just go and stitch them and then come back and show you everything again. Okay guys, so I'm going to show you everything that I've done. So this is the front piece. So after stitching on my dart line, the allowance that I use, so I used a 1/2 inch allowance. So I just brought it to one side and then stitched it. So I didn't want to add an extra casing for the boning, so I just want to make use of my normal allowance. So this is for the center piece like that I told you. So after stitching it together, I just brought it down and then stitch it down. So these are the bonings that I'm going to use. So this is actually the width of the boning that I want to use is about 1/2 inch, but because if you notice my boning case, you notice that it is tiny, so I had to just share it into two. So I'll just pass this through this point like this. Now I'm just trying to get the right place, so I'll just push them through. So I'll just gradually do that. I'll pass it through here, and then for the back piece also, I'll pass it through the back piece. So I'm going to do that. So after doing that, the next thing we're going to do is the cup. So you can see I finished stitching the cup. So this is how it's going to look like. So this is so I just used wording for this top part because I want that part to be firm. So I'm going to take this like this, and then I'm going to stitch down. So I'll show you how I'm going to stitch it down. This top part like this, I'm not going to stitch. So I'm just going to go and place my cup like this on my machine, and then I'll stitch it around like this to this point. This top point, I'm not going to stitch. So I'll go and do that now, and then passing my boning case, and then I'll show you how we'll attach this to this and then turn it with the lining. So this is the one for the lining part. So I stitch it down. So this lining on, I'll just make sure that I match the dart points together like this. You understand? So I'll just stitch. So any extra that I have, once I'm done, I'll trim it out. I'll actually trim it out. So I just want to make sure that you can see. So I'll do this and then come back and show you the next process. Okay guys, so you can see what I've done already. So see, I fixed one cup. It's just remaining for me to go and iron it down. So I'll show you. See the way the inside is. See my boning, I've placed them. So you can see the way this side is. I want the corset to cover very well. So that's why I did it like this. So the next thing, I'll show you how to join the cups. Okay, so here is what you're going to do. So so you can see my cup, how it is looking. So I'm going to place it here. So I'll take the center of my cup, I'll mark it. And please, I want you to note that this cup, I'm using the brand cup size I'm using is 2 inches bigger than the bust. So the bust is 42, but I'm using a brand cup of 44 because I want it to cover very well. That is why I'm doing that. So I'm going to place it like this now on the dart lines, and then I'll just use my hand to like open it up So you can actually use hemming gum for this, especially if you are using lace. But since I'm making use of an Ankara, it is okay. But you can use hemming gum to secure it down. It will be easier for you. I'm going to stitch it round. As far as I'm stitching it, I'm trying to pull it to make sure that it does not have any excess. Okay, so I'm going to look at it so you can see that I don't have any excess. So you can actually secure it with hemming gum. So I'll trim off so you can see my cup. So I'll show you now how we're going to fix this. So I'll take this now. I'm not putting any mark, I'm using my dart line because I want the dart lines, I want them to correspond. So I'll take it like this and then get the dart line and place it on this dart line points like this. Just make sure. I hope you can see it. I'm so sorry if the thing went out of the camera. So I'll place them together like this, dart line on dart like this. And then after placing, I'll make sure, so I'm still trying to double check it, because it's always good for the lines to be. So you can actually pin that. As a beginner, please pin it. Because I've been doing this a long time, so I really don't need to pin. So I'll just start stitching it around like this. So you can see it entered the cup, so I'm going to bring it out. So I'll stitch it around. I'll just follow the same line that I used before. That's the first line that I used to secure it down. So I just want to take a look at it to make sure that it corresponds. So I hope you can see it, the corresponding lines. So I'll finish up the other side. And then I'll show you how to turn it with a lining. So after doing this, I'll just go ahead, I'll stitch this other side down, and then I'll show you how to turn it with a lining. So we're almost done. Okay guys, so you can see, so I finished stitching, so I'll show you, so you see how it is. So you see how our cups are sitting perfectly here. So there's actually another pattern where you can stitch your cup round. So I don't want to do that. So this actually helps to cover, makes the corset to cover more, no matter the size of your cup. So you can see the front. So the next thing now, this is the back pattern. So I've trimmed them, everything with my lining. So the next thing is for us to turn. So this is the zipper allowance for the lining. So this one is going to stay like this. I'm going to sew it all the way down. I'm not doing an inseam finishing, so I'll just turn with my lining. So this one is going to stay like this. For the, if you notice, I did not trim that top part. I'm going to use my fabric to trim it. It's always better that way, especially like for beginners. It's better for you to do it that way. So with that, it will be easier. So you see what we have. So I'm going to, when I'm stitching, it will be like this. I'll place the cups nicely, and then I'll use this front that is straight as guide to stitch. I'll stitch and then I'll stitch the down. So I'm going to go and do that, and then when I'm done, I'll join the side together. Okay guys, so you can see, so I finished ironing everything. So you can see how it looks like. So this is the back piece. So I've fixed on my zipper allowance part. So I opened the side, so I was able to turn it out. So after that, you just stitch it. So the next thing, we're done with this freehand corset. So I'm going to take this like this, and then I'll place here, and then I'll use my measurement. All of my measurements, I'll divide them into two. My bust measurement, I'll divide it into two. I'll place it here, I'll place it here, and then I'll just stitch it down and then stitch it down. My bust measurement, my under bust measurement, and then my waist measurement. So I'll stitch it down and then I'll place it on the mannequin. So like I said it's a tube corset. I'll place it on the mannequin for you to see how it looks like. Okay guys, so at the end of the day, so you can see how our freehand corset for beginners is looking. So you can see it's still the same thing, either whether you use a pattern or you use a freehand, the end result is still the same thing. So thank you so much. If you find this video helpful, please hit on the like button, and if you have not subscribed, please subscribe to Stylish Naija YouTube channel. Thank you so much guys. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you. Bye.